In this video, I want to share with you 5 secrets of composition that professional photographers use every day to increase the impact of their images. You can use them too, and I want to share them with you now to help improve your photography. Hi, my name is Sean Gallagher. I'm a professional photographer and filmmaker. If you're new to my channel, welcome. For the past 20 years, I've been taking images with publications including National Geographic, The Guardian, and the Pulitzer Center. Here on my channel, I want to share with you my experiences as a professional photographer to help you improve your photography and take your images to the next level. In this video, I want to share with you 5 secrets of composition that professional photographers use every day to increase the impact of their images. Once you know them, you can also use these techniques to improve your own photographs. Okay, let's go on to composition technique number 1. One thing I see with many beginner or amateur photographers' images is that they tend to focus on just one thing within the frame. So the first professional technique that you can use is to, instead of focusing on just one thing within your frame, is to bring another element into the frame somewhere to make your composition more interesting and more impactful. Let's have a look at a few examples to show you what I mean. In this image, you can see that there are 2 clear points of interest. On the right, the young man scratching his eye, and on the left, the effluent pipe spewing out sewage. In this image taken in India, you can see the same 2 points of interest. The tree on the left with the cow, and on the right, the lone figure of a farmer walking towards the tree. Your viewer's attention is drawn between the two. You can experiment different scenes with this technique, such as this image of a girl sleeping next to the hat of her father on the Tibetan plateau. Then you can get even more creative, like in this image I took in Jakarta, Indonesia, where we have 2 points of interest. 1, the boy in the foreground, and 2, the second boy walking in a different direction. So you have 2 points of interest and dynamic action. So next time you're out taking pictures, try not to focus your attention too much on just one thing. Try to experiment with bringing other elements into the frame to make your compositions more interesting. Once you have mastered using 2 points of interest in your photographs, then you can move on to composition technique number 2. The next professional photography composition technique is to focus on multiple points of interest. Often there isn't one central point with this technique. More, you're drawing your viewer's attention around the frame, around the image, and this makes it much more interesting and impactful. In this image, you can see that we're moving beyond just 2 points of interest. In the foreground, we have the bird. Then in the middle ground, we have the man on the boat, but we also have the 2 elements of the tree on the left and the pole on the right with its reflection. Here we have 4 elements within the frame, all working together. In this image taken in China, you can see that the 4 different people in the foreground give us 4 different elements to look at. We also have the face of the Garfield on the wall in the background, giving us a 5th element within the frame. In this frame, we're moving on even further to have 6 points of interest, giving our viewer multiple things to look at. This is quite an advanced composition technique, and it will require a bit of practicing before you start to master it. Try to find busier scenes, especially with a lot of people, because these tend to lend themselves better to using this type of composition technique. A frame in a frame is one of my favorite composition techniques. Essentially, it involves looking for frames within the world that you can actually frame within the viewfinder of your camera. So by this I mean looking for doors, windows, anything that forms a square or encircles something within your frame. You can use that to shoot through to then create really interesting compositions. Let's look at a few examples which I think will make this very clear. In this image, I was standing inside an abandoned building, and this window frame with no window provided a perfect opportunity for a frame within a frame. Here's a similar image where I'm using the window frame to draw attention to the main subject matter, which is the boy stood on the boat in the center of the frame. In this image, I try to go one step further by using the frame of the window in the wall, but then also breaking it in two and then framing both of the cows on either side of the pole running down the frame. This technique doesn't have to just be used with windows and doors. You can also get creative, like in this image that I took of fish in a market in China. Next time you're out taking pictures, look out for frames wherever you are and try to incorporate them into your photographs. Find the frame, set your composition, and then be patient and wait for something to fall within that frame, whether it's a person, animal, an inanimate object, anything passing within that second frame. When you capture that image, you will make a really interesting and compelling composition for your viewer. By using a good reflection, you can add interest and intrigue to your photographs. You can play with your viewers' perception of reality by using the reflection to refract and change the scene in front of you. My favorite place to look out for reflections are whenever I'm near water or passing by glass or mirrors. Have a look at these images to show you how you could also use reflections in this way. In this image, you can see how the clear and distinct reflection of this young girl in the display of a museum really creates an interesting and intriguing composition. Sometimes simply turning your camera towards a puddle and focusing your attention on the reflections can yield really interesting results. In this image taken in China, I used the reflection in the background to give interest and depth to the photograph. Pay attention to what is actually in the reflection. Like in this image that I took in a mosque in Beijing. The man was inside a building and I was photographing through the glass, but it created this really interesting effect. Get creative with these compositions. Look for the reflections in mirrors, like in this image that I took. I found my position, found the reflection, and just waited for a motorbike to pass to take the picture. Reflections are all around us, so next time you're out taking photos, make sure that you're paying attention and looking out for them. When you see them, make sure to set yourself up perfectly so that you're able to use the reflection to its full impact to create an interesting image. Okay, we've got one more composition technique that I know is going to help take your images to a new level. The final technique that I want to share with you is shooting past another object. Now, this technique involves framing your image in a way that you are including something within the frame, but your main subject matter is actually deeper in the photograph or further on in the photograph. By using other things in the foreground, you create interest, you create layers and complexity to your composition that actually draws interest and draws your viewer's attention to the main subject of your photograph. Let's have a look at a few examples to show you how this technique works. In this image taken in Cambodia, I decided to shoot through the fire to try to create an interesting scene and composition of this young boy sat next to a campfire outside his home. Vegetation is really good to use with this technique. Try to put the vegetation in the foreground and focus your viewer's attention on something in the background. Here's another image taken in Cambodia, and you can see that I'm shooting through the trees and focusing my viewer's attention on the man's eyes. So look out for things that you can photograph through, whether it's fire, vegetation, or even a gate. Shooting through things like glass can add the reflection element also into your images, combining your different composition techniques. If you're trying to elevate your compositions, I really highly recommend this technique. So look out for objects and things that you can incorporate into your frame next time you're out taking photographs. Try layering your images and drawing attention to something further on, deeper within your frame, to create these more interesting compositions for your viewers. By using these 5 advanced professional composition techniques, I know that they're going to help you improve your images. I suggest taking one at a time and really focusing in on that technique, mastering it, and then moving on to the next one. If you've made it this far in the video, I'd like to invite you to join my communities. I have one on WhatsApp and one on WeChat. And in these communities, members share their images, I give feedback, and it's a safe and encouraging space where you can get feedback on your photography with the goal of helping you improve your images. Thanks for watching today's video. If you liked it, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next video.